Hey guys, I'm with Hannah Bell. She's going to tell us how you can protect your assets, love your family from afar and from near by doing the most important thing, creating an estate plan.
Hey guys, I am Hannah Hembry Bell. I am an estate planning and family lawyer. I have an office in Austin and one in San Antonio. I used to live down in San Antonio and worked at a big, awesome firm here, but got into this whole protecting the family world through some of my own personal experiences. And now I have a firm. The way I explain it is we're in the peace of mind business. So whatever your family needs to get peace of mind, today we're going to talk some about estate planning and protecting your assets. We work with families to come up with real practical nuts and bolts solutions to get that peace of mind for your family.
So nobody wants to talk about wills or estate planning or anything because it's not fun.
I beg to differ.
It's not fun. It's exciting topic to talk about for most people. So when you're buying a house, you are arguably investing in one of your largest assets. And so this is really the time to have that conversation and to make sure that the foundation for your plan is set.
Right.
So talk a little bit about the importance of real estate with regard to estate planning and how we can make those kind of become a seamless merger.
People sometimes are like, okay, what's estate planning? Truth, until I went to law school, I wouldn't have known what that is. Like I knew about you need a will. So what? I literally thought that's all there is. I'd heard of trust, but I thought like, oh, a trust is for like super rich people on a 90s TV movie, you know? But an estate plan, basically, if you're over 18 years old, and that's probably every single person watching this, you gotta have your estate plan stuff together, okay? Because there's two parts of an estate plan. It's more than just a will, okay? An estate plan deals with, number one, your stuff, and number two, yourself. Okay, let's talk first about the stuff. If you did absolutely nothing, so you don't have a will, you do nothing, you would be, if you passed away, you got conked on the head, you fall off the cruise ship, those are the examples like estate planning lawyers always put you through. Then the state of Texas has a plan for you. If you die what's called intestate, that means without a will. So they have a plan for what's going to happen to your stuff if you don't tell them otherwise. And I don't know, but one afternoon at the DMV might suggest that you don't exactly want the state of Texas planning out your future, right? So if you take some steps, and it really doesn't have to be at our office anyway, like we make the process as easy as possible. It's supposed to be simple and not stressful. You can do a will, number one. And that just says, hey, I want this stuff to happen when I die. And it names who your executor is going to be. And that's a really big deal because in the intestate situation, somebody in your life has to go tell the court, hey, let me figure this stuff out, please. Okay? I don't know that many people in my life who want to take on that job. So what you can do in your will is name who's going to be my person and can they do it independently, meaning with less court business. Okay? That's one of the key things that you can do. So in the will vein, you can also do a trust, which is a step up of complication, but not all that complicated. I think it's just sort of like a vague area. People hear trust and like, what's that? Right?
It sounds fancy.
It sounds fancy, right?
Yeah.
We have to sit up straighter when we talk about a trust, but not really. Okay, but we'll talk about that, I think, in another segment we're going to do. But as far as your stuff, you need to get a will, and you might consider a trust depending on some factors. All right, but I would say that's not even the most important thing you have to deal with, because if you do nothing with your stuff, something's going to happen, okay? If you've got this awesome house you bought in Alamo Heights with the Real Estate Muses, somebody's going to get that house, okay? Now, let's talk about the second part, yourself, okay? This is things that affect your person, and I would argue in some ways are almost more important. So we're talking about powers of attorney. And people just say, oh, a power of attorney. But there's actually two kinds. So when they just say that to you, you need a power of attorney. You should say, well, what kind, okay? So there's a medical power of attorney, and there's a statutory durable or a financial power of attorney. And the medical one, you're able to, in life, while you're with it, decide who makes medical decisions for you. The financial one, the same thing, but over your finances. If you don't do anything, or say you wait too late. A lot of people come to me, their mom's kind of got some dementia, not seeming quite with it, or is totally not with it.
late.
It's too late. You
Yeah.
can't. It's heartbreaking and awful. So you have to get ahead of this.
Which is why it could be a total gift to your family if you plan it early enough.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I think that's the thing to keep in mind. It's not easy to talk about for some people. I don't know, for me, it's just like I want to know my plan, so it's not hard for me to talk about naturally. But just ignoring it is not going to make it go away. And actually, what you could be doing is having some huge unintended consequences where you're conked on the head or on a respirator. We've seen that in life coming up recently. And then what? So you need to get the paperwork, the estate plans about yourself, those powers of attorney. You can declare a guardian. I mean, there's a whole sort of slew of things that are more about your person. And so with Real Estate Muses clients and anybody in the real estate transaction, I think it's a good time because you're going to buy this expensive piece of real estate. And then if you're gone, then what?
Yeah, you need a plan because that definitely is an important part of owning real estate and creating wealth, is having a strategy around it, for sure. Well, I just think that it's really important, particularly as it relates to real estate, to make sure that you have a good, solid plan around all of your assets, your real estate and otherwise. And part of that is definitely having a will and an estate plan.
Yeah, and look, it would shock most people watching this, unless it includes you, which it may if you're still watching at this point, to learn lots of people who own a lot of stuff do not have this handled. I have done some plans for multimillionaires who literally did not have one thing done before they met me, and they've been owning stuff for decades. Okay, so don't feel guilty. Like if you're like, oh my God, I haven't done this, I'm such an idiot. You're not an idiot. You're among the most of us, but it's not like fine wine. It does not get better with age. It's not gonna solve itself. So just take a little time. You can call my firm. You can call, there are lots of great lawyers in San Antonio, in Austin, who can help you to do this. And it doesn't have to be super painful, promise.